Hey guys, so welcome back to Doc Lil Talks Comics, and let's get started with our first episode of the Thunderbolts first year review. So you have this awesome book that came out in 1997, written by Kurt Busiek with art by Mark Bagley, fresh off of Amazing Spider-Man. And in this book, you get something that they could never do today. They could never keep this shocking secret, but they somehow managed to do it. Kept it out of the Wizard magazine, kept it out of the burgeoning internet, kept it out of all of these different areas. And it was, we'll get to that eventually. But you open on this scene of destruction post-Onslaught. And Onslaught had really done a number to the Marvel heroes. He had sent a bunch of them into a pocket universe, or Franklin Richards had actually, and in order to protect them. And so Captain America and the Avengers were gone, Fantastic Four was gone, Iron Man was gone, and you have to wonder, when all of your heroes have disappeared, what's going to happen next? And even this guy on TV, he says it seems like there's hundreds of bad guys coming out of them, coming out of everywhere, and there's more every month. And we've just lost our best protectors. So you get to see all of that going on. And they ask the question, the biggest threat out of all of them, where are the masters of evil? Evil. Where are they? But nobody seems to know. Baron Zemo and his crew have gone underground. But next we cut to this group called the Rat Pack, which is stealing and scavenging what they can from different sites that have been destroyed by the battles with Onslaught and his lackeys. And you get to see Citizen V pop up along with the rest of the Thunderbolts. And he says, somebody needs to stop you, and I'll be that somebody. So you get to see the adulation. You get to see people believe in heroes again, even though they never knew at this point where these heroes came from, what their story is, what are they doing here. Well, you'll find out soon enough, but Citizen V, Moonstone, Atlas, Fixer, Techno in that particular instance, and Mach 1, and Songbird. And they go away to the V-Wing and get routed again. It had another run-in with the Rat Pack. And then we get to see some heavy hitters, the Wrecking Crew, which were practically all individually as strong as Thor, and kind of knock off Asgardian gods. And Atlas gets to show off his strength and his power, only to meet the rough end of Thunderball's big giant wrecking ball. So hence the Wrecking Crew. And I guess the whole point of this story, the whole reason that it was so good, is because you get to see these heroes rise up in a moment of chaos. And who are they? What are they? Where did they come from? With all the villains popping up out of everywhere, where did these guys find time to become heroes? Or is it just a ragtag bunch of people who have never stepped into the limelight before and have been waiting for their moment? Well, at the very end of the book, you get the answer to who this team is, and it was one heck of a shocker. Everybody's sitting there watching TV, and it says, in the spirit of the harmony, the Union will overlook that the Thunderbolts fixed the Statue of Liberty. And Techno says, well, I should think so. And Citizen V comes out and he says, a triumph indeed. Even those paid to object to our actions welcome us. We have succeeded beyond our wildest dreams. And everybody's like, your face. And he says, yeah, not a pretty sight. You would prefer it to be hidden behind a mask. The Thunderbolts are the masters of evil. This is part of their plan to take over the world now that all of the world's heroes have fallen. How awesome is that, guys? How is that for a master plan? And look, that's an almost 30-year spoiler, so I'm not going to feel bad about spoiling it if you've never read this book before, but it's got the writing of Kurt Busiek, who was at the height of his powers, right after Marvels and right after Untold Tales of Spider-Man, or right about the time that Untold Tales finished. You've got Mark Bagley coming off of a massive, 75-issue run on The Amazing Spider-Man, so 6+ years on ASM. And then you get this colorist, you get all of this together, put together, and it makes for one heck of a book. And it starts off the year of the Thunderbolts in a righteous manner. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and look for episode number 2 to be coming out soon. Thanks.